let's talk about you are running for Ward 1 City Council seat. What made you want to run for that seat?
Well, I really, at the base of it, I want to advocate for my neighbors, really. And the reason that I felt very compelled to do so was people kept asking me, are you going to run for city council? And I thought, no, I'm not a politician. But when people just kept asking me, I thought, well, that's kind of a sign, right? That people think that maybe I do provide a good voice for neighbors and for the ward. So I thought this might be a good opportunity for me to advocate louder for my neighbors.
And what are some of those things that you do want to advocate for and some of the goals that you have running for this seat?
Absolutely. I would like to work for more equitable allocation of resources. I'd like to spread the love, to put it simply. I would like to work towards equitable distribution of density. I want to see business development. I want to see business development supported in other areas that are in need of development. Let's support them in our areas that don't get as much attention. I think it's very possible so that we can create job opportunities for our neighbors and our kids. People want to talk about kids not having jobs, but if your job is in a suburb and you only have a bicycle, you can't get to that job. So more businesses in our neighborhood districts would really help out to stabilize our neighborhoods. I want to make sure that we're making choices as a city that at the base of it are taking care of those basic needs of our neighbors and the residents. Secure housing, secure access to food. Every decision we make, how are those choices going to affect those basic needs? And then let's go from there to keep raising the bar for everyone so that we can all rise on that high tide.
Yeah, and what are some of those ways that you're going to be able to, what are some of the ways that you are going to communicate with your constituents, and how would you bring what they want to see in city council to the table?
Absolutely. Well, one of the things that I am enjoying about this process, which is very foreign to me, is having conversations with neighbors. I really love meeting neighbors and talking with them and hearing from them about what they need. Everyone, wonders about an agenda or what do you want to do, but really for me, it's about knowing what the neighbors want to see. What's their agenda? What would they like to see? And to be the conduit for them to the city level. So, there's easy access through neighborhood associations. We've got some great, strong associations here in Ward 1. There are others that I know are struggling because people don't always have the time to go to a lot of meetings. But that's a good way to start. There are all kinds of groups and organizations, church meetings, cultural groups. There's all kinds of ways to get access to people and start having more and more of those conversations. And really just staying open. It's not easy to get a whole bunch of emails in a day, but you just start at the beginning and say, I don't know, I'll get back to you, or here's what we just did about this, or you'll be excited to hear. Answer the phone. Something I've learned from our at-large representatives over the last 6 months here in the ward is that answering the phone goes a long way to making people feel heard. Even if you don't know what to say, once you've said hello, if they just know that you're there, then they feel like they have access to their own city government.
Yeah, definitely. And being the president of the Riverbend Neighborhood Association, how will that experience help you if you were to be the Ward 1 City Council member?
Yeah. Definitely my experience as president of the Riverbend Neighborhood Association has sort of teed me up to be ready to hit the ground running on the city council. I've already been having the conversations in the neighborhoods, and not just this neighborhood, but other surrounding neighborhoods. I've already been having conversations with other ward neighborhoods at Ward 1 meetings that we have when we get together. I'm already working on issues like zoning issues and business development, and really, getting invited as a neighborhood leader, getting invited to input meetings like with the new Reichardt Community Center, or when they want to hear how the fire department is doing. These are things that I'm already being included in. And so I know what to look out for. I know what neighbors are wondering about and are wanting to see improved, and the kind of things that tend to happen without their knowledge that make them step back and go, why didn't anybody tell us about that? You know, I know what to listen for because that's what we've been listening for all these years.
And what are some of those things that people do want to see? What changes do people want to see made, and how are you utilizing that in your campaign?
Yeah, I think people want to see basic needs being met. People want to see their neighbors have access to housing. They also want to see that access to housing distributed evenly around the metro. They want to see areas getting strong commercial businesses and not just clusters of social services and things that don't raise a tax base. They want to see their kids having a chance to have a quality education no matter where they live, no matter what their income is. They want to feel like somebody's listening to them and somebody has their back when they're going to meetings on Monday nights.
And this is sort of an unprecedented special election, and there's numerous candidates, more than I think that most people expected to see. So what sets you apart, and how do you plan to manage that alongside so many other candidates?
It's actually exciting to see how many candidates have come forward, because it feels like there's a lot of energy, and it actually gives me hope that we, you know, as a ward, I think we felt abandoned for a little while, and to see so many people step up and say, I'll do it, I'll take the reins, it sort of gets rid of that feeling of abandonment. So it's great to see it, and it feels good that people will have a choice. One of my neighbors said to me, a full slate is a healthy slate, and I love the idea that people aren't going to have to pick the least worst person, right? I'm actually excited to meet all of them because I don't know them. I've met a couple of them in different instances, and I'm sort of excited to see who's around, because no matter what, as a neighborhood leader, I'll be working with them in any way, whether it's me on one side of that or me back here in the neighborhood. I will have a working relationship with one of these people. I think that in the large slate that we have for Ward 1, I stand out as a neighborhood leader. I'm already in the ward, having the conversations, doing the work. I've already been meeting with neighbors and talking about the things that are going on in the ward, and they recognize me. People will know who I am because they've sat next to me at a meeting and go, oh yeah, she's the one from River Bend. I'm also not a politician. I haven't run for another office. This is the first time I've ever done anything like this. So if an outside voice is what people are wanting to hear, to continue to hear, I'm an outside voice and a fresh perspective in that position, and it might be something that people still want to see happen, because I think that's something that we had when we were voting a couple of years ago.
Yeah, definitely. And you talked about the feeling of abandonment. So obviously this Ward 1 seat has kind of put, I guess, the Ward 1 district almost on the hot seat, I guess you could say. A lot of people are really passionate about this election. So how do you plan to kind of rebuild that relationship between the maybe Ward 1 seat in the community and make that feeling of abandonment and go away and listen to people?
I think conversations are going to be really important. People want to know that you are available to them, and people want to hear the genuine truth. And if that means in the moment you don't know, then you say you don't know, but you get back to them with an answer. It's important to have conversations, and I think it's going to start with the door knocking in the campaign. It's like, let's hear from everybody, and then making yourself available. I feel like, you know, right now when I'm talking with people, I feel like the bar is kind of low. Like if somebody shows up, they'll be happy. And I want to make sure that we're not just doing the, well, I showed up, so I'm good. I want to make sure that people know that the city government is their government, that they do have a conduit to the table, and that somebody is listening to them and hearing their perspective and actually taking it into account. Not everybody's opinion is going to be the thing that makes the decision. A lot of things that go on are very complicated, but hearing perspectives always helps you understand better how people are going to be affected by every single decision. And you have to go out and have to talk to people, and you have to be available for them to talk to you so you can listen and then make choices based on what you heard.
Yeah, and talking about, I guess, summing up your campaign as a whole and going out and having those conversations, I guess, what is your door knocking pitch, I guess you could say, or your pitch of your campaign summed up of what you tell people for why you should be the one elected?
I would say my pitch is, I'm Kathy and I'm your neighbor. I want to talk to you, I want to hear from you, and I want to advocate for you in the city council. It's not about me, it's not about what I'm going to do, it's about what you need and how I can hear that and I can deliver that to the table when the time is right.